In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the applications within PowerToys called as Color Picker. Now, Color Picker is basically a color selection tools for Windows. You can pick any color from the screen and then you can store it in some screen, okay, for later retrieval. Now, it enables copying color codes for running application. It can store the palettes of historical colors. It can store color in various formats, not limiting to hex or RGB or HSL. It can do much more than that. Okay, and the shortcut to trigger this is Windows Shift and C. Okay, so as you see over in the screen over here, this is how you can pick up the color palette. Okay, so you can choose the color and then the color gets stored in the color palette based on the configurations which you have configured to store the color format. Okay, so I'll show you how to trigger that. Now, once you are in a PowerToys tool, then you need to go on the left hand side and pick up Color Picker. Okay, so now in Color Picker, you can do a whole bunch of things. But before we even go into the settings, let me do one thing. Let me first trigger this Windows Shift C. So I'm going to press now Windows Shift C on my computer. Okay, now let me go into say one of the website. Okay, over here. Okay, so this is say my website. Okay, now if I do Windows Shift C, then what it's gonna do, it's start the color picker application. Okay, now if you see over here, it is picking up various colors. Okay, so let me scroll. Oh, it has just picked that color. If I just come here and if I click over here again, now if you see, this is the color it's picking. So now it is picking, say this is it termed as red color. Okay, so if I click on it, then this color will get stored over here. Okay, now if I again trigger Windows Shift C and then if I click say black, okay, say this is like a blue gray, so it has picked those color. Okay, so if I want to go into the previous color, I can navigate and I can see the hex value for it. I can copy that hex value and then I can paste it anywhere in my different application whereby I'll be making some image adjustments. Okay, I can pick the old value or the recent value and then I can copy to clipboard. Now, what if you are not interested in hex and you want something else? Okay, yes, those all settings can still be done. If you come to color picker application, let me close this or maybe just push it aside. If you see over here, it says the first setting is the activation shortcut, which we have already seen. We can change the shortcut. I would recommend not to change it. What happens when this command is pressed, Windows Shift C? The activation behavior is pick a color and open editor. I can either select open editor or maybe I'll just say only pick a color. So based on that, the settings will be triggered. Now, default color format which we saw was a hex one, but what if you want something else? Now you can choose from a different color format specifics. Here you can pick up RGB, HSL, CMYK, HSI, HSB, so hue, saturation, luminance, hue, saturation, value, hue, saturation, B, intensity, those all things you can pick up. So if let's say assume if I put CMYK, okay, if I want this in a default color format, I can do that. You saw that color red written, right? Now that's coming from here. So if I turn this on, it will show the color name. I can add other new format as well. However, this format is much more out of the box. So if you see here, RGB, I can pick RGB, I can pick HSL, I can pick CMYK, and now see what happens. Okay, now let me select one more color, say decimal as well. Okay, now I have done this. Let me press Windows Shift C and go into say one of the site. Okay, so maybe I'll go to say, or maybe this even this background is good enough. Okay, so I'll just say Windows Shift C and then the color picker starts. Okay, now let me pick up one color and then let me pick up another color and let me pick another color. Okay, so maybe this one and let me pick another color. Now if you see over here, based on the settings which we have done, it is now showing hex, RGB, HSL, CMYK and decimal. Now I can pick and choose whatever format I want. If am interested in CMYK, I can just copy to the clipboard, okay, and then paste it in my application. Now with this action, we have generated a lot of colors over here. Now, these colors are like a color palette for me. Now what I'm going to do is I can do a like I can hold a say control, and then I can select this. Okay, and if I say, see, these all things are like I can select. Okay, so if I select this, this and this, okay, I can do an export. Okay, so if I select these two colors, I can say export, and I can say grouped by color. Okay, so if I say group by color, group by format, then it will ask me to save it in a text file. Okay, so let me call it as col. Okay, and I'll just save this, and let me do another thing with right click and say export group by format, and I'll call it as col format. Okay, now let's see what that output is. Okay, so if I go to my, if you see the desktop, it has got col.txt and col format. Okay, if I open this file, col file, you will see that it has copied the color code hex hslcmyk for color 1, and it is done for color 2 as well. So you get all this thing all documented in a text file. Okay, so this is how that color file looks like. Now, if I open that other one called format, whereby I've taken the code value for it, now it has done it in a different way. So if you see hex color 1, color 2, RGB color 1, color 2. So it's, the format is a bit different, but then it allows you to import the color palette in a text file so that you can use this in either in a CSS file, or maybe you can give this to a different application of Adobe or Corel Draw, and then use it to generate more graphics out of it. So that's all about color picker. So it's a handy utility whereby you need not go into any website to pick up the color from your screen. This is readily available free of cost in your Windows application. It's a Microsoft product, so I would say go and use it. And then if you want to use it for building any canvas based apps, or like a UI rich application, make use of color picker, so that you can get all this color palette stored over here, so that you can reference it whenever you again revisit this application in the near future. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. This is all about color pickers in the Power Toys application.